Good morning, everybody. I hope that your morning has started off I'm 1 minute or 2 minutes late, whatever it is, but we're going to go ahead and dive right into today's subject. I was going to share something different with you today, but I've been in reflection all this week. And so, first and foremost, shout out to the lady. She was an older lady, shared such wisdom with me in so very few words on yesterday. And it shifted me to the extent that I was almost in tears. I went in for a business meeting, and one of the things that I always try to do is I always try to arrive early. Good morning, Pastor Richetta. I hope that all is well today. The thing that I always try to do with business meetings is I always try to arrive early for a number of reasons, mainly because what I've found is that when you arrive, 5 minutes or on time, what happens is the people that you're there to meet with, they're in such a hurry and they're so focused on the task of the meeting that you really don't get a chance to connect. And so what I've started to do over the last few years is when I have a business meeting, I get there 15, sometimes 30 minutes early, just because it gives you an opportunity to connect not only with the people that you're meeting with, but others that are in the business or whatever. And so yesterday, I arrived early and I was like 30 minutes early, but I decided to just wait. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Josie. And so I decided to just sit in my car for a little bit because I was like, well, today I'll just wait. It's kind of a slow day for me. And I actually need to backtrack because 2 days prior to that, I was getting ready to go and something just told me to be still. And so I stopped getting ready to go and I sat on my bathroom floor for the first time in the 15 years that I've lived in that house. And when I sat on my floor, I just began to look around at the bathroom. And good morning, Rockin' Johnny. Good morning. And so as I began to look around my bathroom, all of a sudden, for the first time in all these years, I noticed that one of my cabinet doors is lower than all the other three. It's four of them in total, but one of them is way lower. And I'm like, oh, that's jacked up. I bought this house and one of my cabinet doors is lower than the other. Dang, that's a messed up situation. It wasn't even right. But from standing up tall, it's perfect. It seemingly looks like they're all in alignment, right? But as I sat on the floor, I just began to look around the bathroom and I began to notice things that stood out. They didn't stand out when I'm standing up, getting ready to go every day, going through my normal routine. They didn't stand out. But all of a sudden, I noticed all of these imperfections that I never noticed before. And so I sat there a little while longer and I just kind of began to reflect just on my own life, who I am, the things that I've come to know about myself, the things that I've taken on, all of that good stuff, right? And that's a whole nother video in itself. Good morning, Shatara. But that's a whole nother video in itself. But fast forward 2 days. So I go to this business meeting. And I arrive early. I go in and I have about 20 minutes. And one of the things that I always do, I speak to every person that I pass. That's one of my standards that I live by. And so when I sat down in the waiting area, I greeted the sweet little old lady that was sitting at the receptionist desk. And I just started to have a conversation with her, just asking how was her day, general pleasantries, right? So she and I end up laughing and just talking about all kinds of stuff, which is irrelevant. About 10 minutes before the meeting was scheduled to start, she said, I have to share this with you. I don't know why. And I hadn't thought about this in years, but I need to tell you this because this is for you. And so I got up from where I was sitting because we were kind of far apart with the way her desk was stationed. And so I got up and I went to the counter closer and I leaned into her and I said, well, what is it? And so she began to tell me a story, and I'm sorry if this takes too long, please feel free to tune out. I won't be offended, but I want to try to share it to you. I won't tell you its entirety, but in general, what she told me was a story about, she said, one day I woke up and I might get emotional because this story, it was so small, but it shifted something in me, right? And so she said, one day I woke up and I was extremely tired of pursuing things that were not for me. She said, one day I woke up and she said, I was pursuing all of these different job opportunities and I was interviewing left and right and whatever. And she said, and always over my lifetime, I've always gotten the jobs that I've wanted. She said, I'm a believer. She said, are you a believer? I said, yes, I am. She said, I figured so. She said, I've always gotten the jobs that I wanted, or so I thought I wanted, until one day I woke up and I was tired. She said, then one day I said, you know what, God, I'm really tired. And I just want your will for my life. That's all I want. She said, so if I never interview again, just promise me the next thing that you give me will be for me. And I stood there and y'all, I got emotional because I'm like, woman, why are you doing this to me? I got to go in here and kill the game because y'all know how I show up. And so I'm like, I got to go in here and I got to represent, and you breaking me down before I go in here. And so she said, Keisha, she said, it took 3 months. She said, and nothing happened. She said, I was applying everywhere. I was meeting people. She said, and nothing happened. She said, but then one day, I got a call. She said, I went in for the interview, and when I got there, she said, it just felt right. She said, I went in and I met with the people, and she said, it felt perfect. And she said, so after the interview, I went home and I'm all excited. I'm turned up. And she didn't say turned up. Of course, that's me saying that. Good morning, Brian. And so anyway, she said, so I went home and 2 weeks went by and nothing. She said, so immediately I just began to look for something else. She said, the moment I started to look for something else, I get a call like 3 days later, and the guy is like, hey, just wanted to let you know we're really busy, but you are a top priority for us. We're just trying to get some things sorted out. And she said, so then 2 more weeks went by, and she said, after that, I was like, okay, really? So maybe I didn't get it even after that. They called to notify me that, they're still working on it, whatever. And so anyway, she said a month later, she was just doing her own thing. She said she started to pursue things herself again. She said, well, you know what? I guess this isn't going to work out. So she said a month later, she started looking again, and she started getting more aggressive about it. And she said, but her prayer was still the same. Do not let anything that is not for me work, because I only want what you have for me. So she said that same day, she said she got a call and they told her to come in for the job. It's hers. And she said, a couple of things I want you to hear. And she said, I want you to take this story and I want you to sit in it. And I want you, and she didn't say sit in it. These are my words, so bear with me. But she said, I want you to take this story and I want you to think about it. And she said, but one thing I want you to really hear is patience. And y'all, Teresa, I was so jacked up in this moment. Like, I really wanted to just cancel the meeting because I was like, why is this woman messing me up? But a couple of things, like, I really appreciate wisdom. And that's why for all of you older people out there, like, we need your wisdom. We need to hear from you, because there are times when we need a word and it sounds so jacked up and screwed up and we're getting it for so many directions. But when it comes from someone who's been there, who has wisdom, and it's easier to receive. And so anyway, y'all know how I do it. So I wiped my eyes and I said, now look, and I called her by her name, and I don't want to say her name, but I called her by name and I said, well, look, now that you done jacked me up for the day, I'm going to try to go in here and Shatara, girl, you and me both, right? So I said, I'm going to try to go in here and I'm going to try to conduct myself accordingly because you done jacked me up. And so I started to get emotional, and she looked at me and she said, this is why in however many years, she said, I've never applied for another job. Because of your reaction today. She said, this is what sustains me every day I show up in this position, knowing that this is where I'm supposed to be. And so a couple of things rang out for me in that. And I'm sorry that this is taking so long, but I want you guys to rest in the story for yourself. I didn't come to tell you what I got from it. But I want you to rest in that story and see what God is saying to you for yourself in the season that you are in. But a couple of things that I heard in that story for myself. And so after that, then God jacked me up even more, because I had an 1.5 hour drive even after that. And so to another location. And so it was more, I had to sit all up in that thing. Good morning, Kashayla. Good morning. Good morning. And And so I had to rest in that thing for a whole nother hour and a half in silence in my car on a long road, watching the beautiful sky, watching the rain around me. So God was just screwing me up yesterday. And so anyway, as I rested in that story, a couple of things that I heard. Oh, and then let me tell you this little sidebar for all of you job seekers out there. One of the things that she says, see, the thing that people don't realize is when they come in here and they ignore me, I'm actually their pre-interview. She said, after every interview, they come and ask me what I thought about the candidate. And my opinion is weighed just as heavily as how your interview went. And so keep that in mind. One, as you are out here in this world, like, you have to start understanding that everybody is playing a part in this life, and everybody, even the secretary, might have something that is just for you. And quit showing up on time expecting that your blessing is going to be there when you arrive on that time. Sometimes you got to show up early to get the blessing, because my blessing wasn't in the meeting that I was having. My blessing was in that word that that woman poured out to me. Because let me tell y'all, when I got home that day, I began to do things like never before. She stirred up something so deep on the inside of me with that simple story. It woke up something inside of me. So I'm a very passionate person. I'm bold too. And I can be nice. I am very nice and I'm sweet. But I know that I also, when I believe in something so passionately, my niceness can turn to I'm in your tail. Okay. So I know those things about myself. But what it woke up in me was a couple of things. The way that I pray for things, because the thing that I began to realize was that, God, you have given me everything that I've asked for. And the thing is, we pray to God when stuff starts to go sour, like, why am I here? Why are you doing this? What is this thing? Why am I in this relationship? Why is this job not working out? Why is this business relationship so crappy? Well, guess what? He gave you the desires of your heart. You prayed that thing into fruition. And because he loved you so, he said, okay, this might take you a little longer to get to your destination, but you want this thing here. And so the thing that I had to be mindful of was, how many things have I prayed myself into and accessed out of his will? I had to take ownership of that. And so as I sat there and began to look at my life, how many times because I wanted something so badly, how many prayers have I prayed out of necessity and not because of where I knew I was supposed to be, or because of my call, or because of my assignment, or because of my giftings? How many times have I accepted something because of a need? And that was some other things that she shared in that story that just kind of had my brain just turning and turning over. And the thing more than anything that I hope that you hear today, a couple of things. One, stop always arriving on time, expecting the blessing to be right there in that moment. Sometimes you got to show up early because there's some things that need to happen for you that you miss out on because you're showing up on time or too late. Number two, please, please, please practice patience. I know it's hard. I know it is crazy hard to practice patience, especially when there's so many things, especially like for myself, I'm very passionate and I'm hungry. And I'm seeking things in this season like never before. And so be mindful of practicing patience. Number three, be in his will. Make sure that you are in his will and praying his will. One of the things on Monday that God shared with me, he brought me back to a scripture that he gave me. He said, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added unto you. So if I seek you first, all these things are going to be mine. So his requirement is that we seek him first. Even as I began to delve into the Lord's Prayer, I'm just like, as it is in heaven. Well, I'm looking at things right now, and this don't feel quite like it's going to be in heaven. So that means that I am out of alignment with your will for me. And so many things are just flooding my heart right now. And I just hope y'all hear my heart more than anything. And I hope that you will take some time on this weekend, because as we go into Labor Day, we're so used to laboring that I fear that we're not stopping enough to reflect and rest in what we're supposed to be hearing and seeing in this time. See, because the one thing that, God has been revealing to me on this week, because I'm a dreamer. And I look forward to my dreams because I know that there's always a message there for me. There's always a word. There's always direction there for me. But the thing, God, I began to freak out because I had stopped dreaming. And God had to remind me, you're getting comfortable in one thing. There's so many ways I want to use you. There's so many things I want to do for you, but you're getting so comfortable looking like everybody else, doing things on a certain standard that you're missing me. And so in this season, as we pursue the new thing, as we begin to walk in the new thing, as we are hungry for something more, because all of us want more, whatever your more is, we all want something more. Our issue is the how. But see, oftentimes because we're so worried about the how, we miss his will. So please, please, please hear me. At the end of the day, we all have need of something. On this week, I've been so messed up because there are so many people out there who have so many needs that are unmet, and they're struggling. And they're going through because their needs are seemingly being unmet. And at the end of the day, y'all, like, it's guaranteed, it's a promise that life is going to bring us trials and tribulations. It is. But at the end of the day, the one thing that we should be able to turn back to and rest in is that God has got us, and this is all a part of his plan and his perfect will for us. And so with that being said, y'all, I'm going to let y'all go because y'all done jacked me up and messed up my makeup because I was kind of on fleek today, okay? And now my makeup is messing up, and I wasn't going to get emotional this morning. I was trying not to get emotional because I'm just, and the thing I want y'all to hear more than anything, it's not that my life is perfect by any means. Like, I work darn hard to stay full. I work hard to be joyous. I work hard to smile. I work hard to press. Like, every day is a press for me. Because like the lady said to me, I too am seeking his perfect will for my life. At this point in my life, I don't want to just accept things because I have a need that needs to be met. At this point in my life, I want to do what is meant for me to do. And I want to live passionately every day. I want to live. I want to walk in my more, unapologetically, allowing myself to truly be who I am. I'm a mess. I am. I know it. I know that I'm bold. I know that. And I know sometimes when I speak, sometimes it comes off as harsh because I speak truth. I don't know how to make up stories. I don't know how to fluff stuff up. I don't know how to do that. And so oftentimes I struggle because I look at the way people are doing things and I say, well, Lord, that's not the way I want to do it. And he says, I never asked you to do it that way. See, the thing that you don't understand is that I called you to be set apart, which means do it the way I told you to do it. Quit worrying about what people say. Well, if you don't do it that way, 100 people are not going to follow you. If you don't say these catchy catchphrases, people are not going to, if you don't do 500 videos, people are not going to follow you. If you don't take selfies, people are not going to connect with you. So you notice on my page, I never take selfies, mainly because it was a decision that I made. I don't need you looking at me. I don't need that. That's not what I want for myself. And so anyway, that's a whole nother thing, but just reflect on this week. Spend time in reflection. Start showing up early in expectation that there was some precursor to whatever the real true blessing is. There was some precursor to it that you needed to access. So please start showing up early. Whether that's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, start the pattern of showing up early and arriving in preparation for the blessing so that you are truly ready. Because that word that woman shared with me on yesterday, it stirred something up in me. I began to work so crazy on other things when I got home. It was just like, oh my goodness, the passion was reignited in me. And so with that being said, y'all, I remember I get 3 times to wrap up. I'm wrapping up for real this time. But remember, as your soul prospers, so shall you prosper in life and in health. So get your soul right, y'all. And you will see that your life and everything in it will line up. And so with that being said, y'all, I'm out of here because I got some things I got to do in this world. I got impact I have to make. Y'all, I am called, and I'm going to speak it out here into the atmosphere because I am called to speak life, to help people bear fruit, to help people access the more that God has called them to. And so you know what? Every day, I will wake up fighting for his will for my life. Every day. Even when I'm tired, even when I can't get out of bed because I'm done, even when I don't know how, I will get out the bed every day, put my face on, put my clothes on, and I will go out into this world until whatever doors he has already set up, I am aware of them or he makes way for me to move into them. Every day, wake up in expectancy and be mindful of what you're praying for. Because sometimes in all of our prayers that we're putting out into the atmosphere, because the things that we forget is that our words have the power to create. And so every time you speak a prayer out into the atmosphere, every time you speak a word out into the atmosphere, guess what happens? That word plants itself somewhere and creates something. So you wonder why you are confused. So you're looking for a job. Now you got 15 job offers and you don't know which one to take because your words, and as powerful as they are, have created all of these extra opportunities instead of saying, Lord, I want a new job. But Lord, I want the job that you have for me. So every other job, let them not even call me. Don't let them respond because I don't need the high. I don't need the boost. Don't let them respond to anything because I only want the job you have for me. And then when I go into that job that you have for me, you stand up in me, speak in and through me and give me the words that you have for me to say. In your business, say, Lord, I don't want every client that's out here. I don't want every business that looks like this that's out here. I only want the business opportunities that you have for me. I don't want to speak on every stage. I don't want to be in everybody's group. I don't want to follow every person out here that's doing what I'm doing. I don't care to be in your clique. When you understand that and you say, Lord, I want you to put me into alignment with people of purpose, people that are a part of my journey, people that are part of my destiny, put me in that place. Start praying for the specific thing that God has for you. And then you will see that you won't be confused and you won't have to struggle between what choice to make because your prayers, your words that you are putting out into the atmosphere are creating only the thing that God has set out for you. So anyway, let's spend time, your assignment on this weekend, all the way up until next Friday when we meet again. And just so you know, one of the things I am going to go back to doing is Word in the Workplace. And all that is every Wednesday, I would offer you business tips in relation to the Word. And so I am going to go back to doing that video because people are always emailing me and texting me and calling me, asking me for business advice, career advice. And so I want to be truthful to that because that is where my heart is. But also my heart is in just encouraging people and helping people live fruitful lives, helping people access their more. So my more doesn't look like your more. For me, my more is attached to peace. At the end of the day, everything that's produced in my life, I want it to reflect back to peace. So whatever your more is, you have to get clear on your more. So that way you understand that when I show up in this business opportunity and it disturbs my peace, oh no, I can't do this. When you own a job and you know that you are your more is attached to relationships and you value relationships, or your more is attached to the way that people are being treated, and you fought the battle to make sure that that is getting done on that job, then you need to say, hold up, this is affecting my more. So I need you guys to start holding on to the promises of God because they are yes and amen. I need y'all to take hold of it in this season and don't let anybody take that away from you. Don't let anybody shift you from the passion that you have in regards to your promise. Because all too often as believers, we are losing the promise. We are dying. We're losing hope. And there's no reason that we should. I wake up every day passionate about purpose. Every day. And every time, my mama always said to me, she said, Keisha, when you can't find hope in anything else, always find hope in your salvation. Always find hope in your joy. She said, go back to the things that God said, I give to you. These things I give to you. So you don't got to work for them. You don't got to go find them. I give these things to you. And she always told me, she said, when you find yourself in a place to where you so broke down, you don't know what to do. She said, go back to the salvation, the joy of your salvation, and rest in that until you can find the strength or the joy or the energy to go for it again. So anyway, y'all, I told y'all I was going to go. And I'm out of here, y'all, because I got some things I got to do. And I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Share your story with somebody else. Share a word with somebody else, because you never know what it's going to wake up. That woman on yesterday, she reawoke the giant within me. So y'all better watch out, because if y'all come in contact with me today, just get ready, because something gonna have to move. I'm coming to knock some things down today. And so whatever that looks like, I encourage you to do the same. Stand on the promise. Yes, Teresa. Yes, yes, yes. So I'm out of here, y'all. Y'all be good. Love on somebody. Be just as good to yourself as you are to somebody else. But love on people today, y'all. I love y'all.